Now, I do want to move on to a couple things that I saw, a couple shocking things, but also kind of makes sense with what's about to happen in the NFL that I don't think people realize or it hasn't gotten talked about a ton in the media. Is we saw that the Dolphins released Kyle Van Noy 1 year into his 4 year $51 million deal, I think it was.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
which is wild to me that they would release him because he was literally it's such a Dolphins move because he was the captain of the defense of a team that had make a great a great improvement with a coach that's a defensive coach. So again, makes no sense, but makes a little bit of sense because he does free up $10 million in cap space. And I don't know if you saw this, but the salary cap this year is expected to drop.
Yeah, of course. And they all
So
expected it to.
they expected it to, but it is going to drop a significant amount. And it might not sound like it, but it is. So it's gonna go from what I gather, it's gonna go, let's see, this year it was 198.2 million. It's gonna drop to around 180 to 183 million.
Yeah.
So it's gonna drop around 16, 17 million, which doesn't sound like a ton, but when you're talking 16, 17 million is like three or four players that are,
It's a couple quality starters at least.
exactly. Or, enough money for you to extend your guy, like this whole Bears thing that we're talking about with how they're going to have to cut Massey and cut Graham and, cut Screen to get under the cap initially and restructure contracts with, Akeem Hicks and all. They wouldn't have to do that if the salary cap had gone up a million or two. The reason why they're cutting is because they're going to have to get under the cap, and that's the problem. I don't think people realize that. And I know Cal Van Noy, it's kind of shocking that he did get cut. It makes sense for the team. I do want to highlight though that this is, and I saw this tweet from I think it was Trey Wingo, and I liked it and everything because I was like, this is exactly how I feel. I most of the time support the players and the players' decisions as well as I generally favor the players over the owners because the
You don't
players.
side with the billionaires? What do you
Yeah,
mean?
no, I know, shocking. And I also side with the players more than I do the teams, just because there's so many times like this where you hear, oh, Deshaun Watson, he doesn't want to play for the Texans, but he should honor the contract extension he bought or that he got with them. And it's like, okay, well, what about Kyle
Hilarious.
Van Noy? Like, shouldn't have the Dolphins honored that contract?
Yeah, that's your classic old man, like we should do it like, stick by your word type of thing.
Mhm.
Hilarious to hear. It doesn't work that way ever.
No, but again, another one of those cuts that was kind of surprising. But again, makes sense if because they're going to save about 10 million a year, which again I get with the salary cap going down, but kind of dumb on the Dolphins' part because again he was the captain of the defense. He had the second most pass rushes, I think it was, or quarterback rushes from a non-defensive end position
Yeah.
on the field. So
Is it
highly
because of something
productive.
else other than performance? Like, are we going to get something out like, some sort of scandal that's going to come out?
No, it's just straight up. They got to get under the. It's a cap move. That's what it is.
Okay.
There's no way because there's no way you sign a guy for 4 years. He's productive, and then you cut him, but then you also realize that if you cut him, you save 10 million, and then you look at the cap and it's about to drop 16. So there's to me that's obvious. Point A to point B. That's makes sense.
Yeah.
Why it's happening. So Kyle Van Noy is free agent now out there on the market. Great linebacker. He was the captain of that defense that was really played well last year. So that goes to show. Um, Another cut that just happened, a little bit of different reasons, but again, another cut was the Vikings releasing Kyle Rudolph. Kind of falls into the same thing. And again, by the way, that the whole tweet about the cap and how cap had dropped, Diana Rossini, who we had just talked about before for the JJ Watt stuff, also tweeted out that she'd heard from executives that there was going to be a quote unquote massacre of players' contracts next week. So everybody look out for that. That next week there's going to be plenty of cuts
Yeah.
and
That's going to be
players that
exciting, though. It
you're
actually
gonna,
makes for more off-season content.
yeah, and it's going to be players like a Kyle Van Noy where you go, I don't know why we're cutting that guy. Oh, it's because the cap's about to drop. Like
Yeah.
that's the type of stuff that makes sense, and that's what you're going to see.